I think most physicians and most of the lay public and our patients, they think of sunlight, particularly sunburns, but it's not just ultraviolet B, the burning rays, or ultraviolet A, the rays that age us prematurely, which are also in tanning salons and often are not blocked by traditional sunscreens. Those are the sunlight ultraviolet parts of atmospheric aging, but there's also visible light and infrared A, the near infrared light. These actually comprise more of the total sunlight than the ultraviolet. So while ultraviolet rays are more intense and do DNA damage, there are parts of the visible light and also parts of the infrared spectrum that prematurely age us. I think if you look at the atmospheric total global exposure, it's ultraviolet, visible, infrared light, and then it's airborne particulates from exhaust, from diesel, from car fumes. It can also be from ozone, from gases, nitric oxide. So there are many, and it can also be things like secondhand tobacco smoke. So we have many environmental atmospheric pollutants, and we have many light, sunlight, or artificial light sources, including perhaps even some of the things we're around lighting. And today there's a controversy about digital devices, computer light. So there's a lot we have yet to learn. But the cellular effects tend to have a common denominator pathway. And in many cases, it's oxidative stress. And one aspect of that is inflammation, or some people call it oxy-inflammation. So the inflammatory pathways, the DNA damage, and also other effects that are very, very diverse comprise what you might put as in the umbrella of atmospheric aging. So if we look more specifically at, say, visible light, which we don't think traditionally as being affecting the skin as much, there is new evidence that there are receptors within the human skin, melanocytes, similar to the receptors in the retina of our eye, and they're sensitive to blue light. So blue light may actually cause melanocytes to hyperpigment. There's new data that suggests that darker skin types may actually have more long-lasting hyperpigmentation. So this ties ultimately into prevention, whether it's sunscreens, makeup, or things yet to be developed. And it also ties into the therapy as dermatologists. For example, melasma, we try to treat that and then it recurs. It now appears that blue light may be a factor. Blue light comes out of industrial lighting, our homes, our computers. So there's much to be learned about the full impact and how we translate that to treating our patients for atmospheric aging. I think one of the big challenges for clinicians and for each of us in our practices is, what do we tell our patients? First, how do we educate them as to what they need to be protecting themselves from? That's the educational component, but the therapy part is, what do we prescribe, advise, what skincare products do we give? And there's a lot to be learned. I think we need to develop new strategies for protecting from visible and infrared light. So we need to, if we cannot block it, we need to intercept the cellular damage before it's sent. Perhaps one of the best strategies for us in the near future is to harness the power of nature's own defenses. Plants, botanicals, all a source of antioxidants that are rich in protective factors, and incorporate these into sunscreens, to products that we can use to not only protect and defend the skin, but to help prevent the cellular damage that occurs for what we can't protect. So if we can't put a barrier up, we need to help protect the cells. Antioxidants from nature are one of our leading defenses.